Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. So, I'm Maya Henry, and I'm back again with another segment of news you can use. And I'm so happy to be here with you guys today, sharing the latest news and updates that can truly make a difference in your life and in your business as well. So, of course, I'm going to be going over the most relevant news, trends, and topics and practical tips. That way, you guys can use them to stay ahead of the game. So, with that being said, let's get started and prepare yourselves for a very informative session. One of the first few things that I would like to go over with you guys is how and why to buy a home despite an uncertain market. So, buying a home can be stressful regardless of economic outlook or whether a home buyer has gone through the process before. But home ownership is a major step toward establishing financial stability and building wealth for future generations. Even in a uncertain market, it helps enable upward financial mobility. So whether a person is a first-time home buyer or they're looking for a place that meets their current needs, obtaining the right loan and navigating the process can be daunting. But working closely with a mortgage loan officer to evaluate all available options can help make the process a little bit simple and get home buyers into buying their dream home sooner rather than later. So even amid financial uncertainty and the chance of an economic downturn, purchasing a home offers the potential to build equity over time. So most consumers are still planning on making big ticket purchases this year, with two-thirds, which is 66%, intending to make at least one large purchase within the next year. So when considering buying or purchasing a home, I'm going to share with you guys two things that can help. First timers or even people who are seasoned house owners. So one of those is assessing your finances. So before setting out to buy a home, it's very important for homeowners to understand their budget, namely how much they're able and willing to spend. And don't forget to factor in the down payment, monthly mortgage payment, interest, taxes, homeowners insurance, moving costs, renovation fees, and other expenses. And so here in our company, we help people assess their finances by doing something called a financial needs analysis, also known as a FNA. So an FNA is where we sit down with families and we go over their finances to get them sorted out, which is definitely something that everyone should be doing before any big purchase. Another tip that I have for you guys is save for a down payment and additional expenses. So a down payment is one of the most significant expenses when buying a home. While this is typically 5% to 20% of the loan amount, certain programs such as FHA loans or key community mortgage are specifically designed for those who could benefit from a lower down payment. Following closing, there are additional costs that need to be accounted for, including moving or renovation costs, which often are overlooked when home buyers, especially those who are buying a home for the first time, solely focus on the down payment. So a local bank can help identify if applicable down payment programs, develop a purchase plan, and set up an account dedicated to saving for a house. And moving forward, UPS eliminates Friday day shifts at Worldport facility in Louisville. So what does that mean for its workers? So in the midst of labor contract negotiations between UPS and Teamsters, the union, which represents roughly about 340,000 UPS workers, the company made yet another operational adjustment to work schedules at UPS Worldport. Recently, the United States Postal Service made an operation adjustment to eliminate all Friday day shifts at Worldport, which is the largest sorting and logistics facility in America. Prior to this adjustment, some of the Friday day shifts was volume from the United States Postal Service. And a union official said that USPS began to handle its Friday volume, leaving less work for UPS employees. A UPS official confirmed USPS has come and taken what volume back because they can. And they also indicated the operational adjustment was less than ideal. UPS Teamsters announced negotiations to resume next week ahead of possible strike. And along with that, a UPS official said that this adjustment was not related to the ongoing contract negotiations, but instead it is a result of the decline in package volume UPS is receiving. So UPS saw roughly 1.2 million fewer packages on average day in the first quarter of 2023 than it did in 2022. This represents more than 5% decrease in average daily package volume, according to quarterly filings. This decrease in volume also led to revenue failing. So the company experienced a $137 million loss in revenue compared with last year from US domestic packages using this next day air, deferred, or ground shipping methods. So UPS stated that we anticipate a continued decline in average daily volume throughout the remainder of the year. At this time, UPS said it believes this operational adjustment only impacts the Worldport facility in Louisville, which is what a UPS official said. However, Brian Ham, vice president of Teamsters, the union that represents roughly 10,000 UPS workers in Louisville, said in a Facebook video that shifts are being eliminated at UPS hubs across the country. UPS has certain rights under the contract and the law, and one of them is to make changes to their business models, and that's what UPS is doing, Ham said. A union official confirmed employees were told in advance of the operational adjustments and that it would impact their daily schedules. For the employees who worked on Fridays, most of their schedules have been shifted to Sunday through Thursday. A UPS official said that workers didn't necessarily lose work, but it may have impacted their opportunity for overtime. So that's that. And when student debt payments restart, your loan type will make a very big difference. So student loan payments and interest accrual have been paused since 2020 due to the pandemic, and they're set to resume in October and September. Interest accumulation is a key difference between direct subsidized loans and direct unsubsidized loans. The U.S. Department of Education pays interest on subsidized loans in some cases, like when borrowers are in school or defer their loan payments. That's not true of unsubsidized loans. So the looming end of a pandemic era pause to student loan payments and interest puts a spotlight on a big difference between two types of debt, one of them being subsidized and the other one being unsubsidized loans. Interest accrual is among the primary differences between the federal loans, also known as Stafford loans, which are for the cost of higher education. So direct subsidized loans are available to undergraduate students who demonstrate a financial need. They don't accrue interest while a borrower is in school, at least half time, or during a 6-month grace period after leaving school. The loans also don't accrue interest during deferment, which is a period when payments are postponed due to unemployment or economic hardships. The United States Department of Education pays the interest on subsidized loans in these instances. But however, that protection isn't available for direct unsubsidized loans, which are available to a broader group of borrowers, including graduate students, and are not based on financial need. Interest on unsubsidized loans are starting accruing immediately, and borrowers are responsible for interest amassed during all periods, making this debt more expensive than subsidized loans. In some cases, after a deferment, for example, unpaid interest or unsubsidized loans may capitalize. So when this happens, unpaid interest is added to the loan's principal balance. Future interest is then calculated off of that higher principal, thereby increasing future interest payments. Borrowers can carry both subsidized and unsubsidized loans, which have different borrowing limits. So about 30.3 million borrowers had subsidized Stafford loans as of March 31st, with an average balance of $9,800, according to the Education Department data. And about 30.7 million people have an unsubsidized loan with an average balance of about $19,000, according to the Education Department. So how the payment pause interest waiver affected the loans. The payment pause and interest waiver has been in place for more than 3 years since the onset of the pandemic back in 2020. During that time, interest wasn't accruing on any loans, meaning that unsubsidized loans essentially became subsidized debt for some borrowers. However, interest will start accumulating on borrowers' debt again on September 1st, and monthly payments are going to resume in October. The interest waiver costs the federal government about $5 billion a month. Some financially strapped borrowers may now wonder if it's a good idea to pursue deferment or forbearance as payments resume, but you're effectively digging yourself into a deeper hole by pursuing these avenues, since interest will typically be accruing during deferral or forbearance. Pursuing an income-driven payment plan, which caps monthly payments, is generally a better option for borrowers unless the financial difficulty is short-term in nature. So in general, you don't want to use deferment or forbearance if you're capable of repaying the loan. And one of the final things that I want to touch base on with you guys is weekly earnings for low-income workers, right? So while overall inflation adjusted wages for the median American workers remained flat, low wage workers saw a notable increase in the second quarter of 2023, with the rate of functional unemployment in the United States at an all-time low, according to a report by the Ludwig Institute for Shared Economic Prosperity, also known as the LISEP. But even in the midst of overall good news, LISP noticed that there were one concerning observation. The true rate of unemployment, also known as true, for Black workers jumped 1.5 percentage points. Now it's at its highest rate since the beginning of the year and erasing several months of gains. Overall, this is good news. Americans are holding their own in the face of inflation, and low-income workers are actually gaining ground. But we can't overlook those segments of the population that continue to struggle, said LISEP Charmaine Ludwig. So the goal of shared economic prosperity is to create an environment where everyone has an opportunity to succeed. This is progress, but we're still not there yet. LISEP issued its monthly True for June in conjunction with the second quarter of True Weekly Earnings, also known as TWE. And I know I'm using a lot of abbreviations, but just stay with me, guys. So True is a measure of the functionally unemployed, which is the jobless, plus those that are seeking but unable to secure full-time employment, paying above the poverty line. TWE is a measure of median weekly earnings after adjusting for inflation. And unlike the Bureau of Labor Statistics analysis, the entire labor force is considered in LISEP's number, not just full-time earners. For the second quarter of 2023, the overall TWE rose from $933 to $935 a week over the first quarter, which is a negligible 0.2% increase. Yet low-wage workers, which is the 25th percentile, experienced a notable 1.7 increase after adjusting for inflation from $583 to $593 a week. Meanwhile, upper middle income earners, which is the 75th percentile, saw a 1.3% decrease from 1,561 to 1,541 a week. And the highest wage earners, which is the 90th percentile, experienced a 1% decrease from 2,501 to 2,477. TWE growth was notably better for ethnic minorities, with Black workers seeing a 1.7% increase in earnings, which is $771 to $780, and Hispanic earners earning a 1.2% gain, which is $737 to $746. The gain for white workers was 0.5%, which is from 1,031 to 1,037. But given everything I just said, the gender pay gap continues to widen. So with women gaining a scant 0.2%, which is from 819 to 821, while men are seeing a 2.2% gain from 1,030 to $1,053. So that's a very huge gap, you guys. The true, meanwhile, dropped by 0.7 percentage points from 22.4% to 21.7%, which is the lowest functional unemployment rate since January 1995. And this is also the earliest that LISEP has its data. And while Black workers saw a significant 1.5 percentage point spike from 24% to 25.5%, the composite true number was offset by a 1.2 percentage point improvement for Hispanic workers, which is from 26.1% to 24.9%, and a 0.2 percentage point decrease in true for white workers, which is from 20.9% to 20.7%. Along with that, women in the workforce also saw a significant improvement in true, dropping 1.1 percentage points from 27.5% to 26.4%. And for men, the rate dropped from 18 to 17.7%, which is a 0.3 percentage point improvement. So there's a lot of data this month, and fortunately, most of it represents good news, Ludwig said. But we can't ignore the bad news simply because it's inconvenient. So this is the time for policymakers to take a closer look at what is actually working and apply it in a manner that enhances opportunity across the board. So let me share with you guys a little bit about True. So LISEP issued the white paper measuring better development of true rate of unemployment data as the basis for social and economic policy. And a little about TWE, LISEP issues the TWE quarterly following the release of the BLS median weekly earnings report. And about LISEP, also known as the Ludwig Institute for Shared Economic Prosperity, it was created in 2019 by Ludwig and his wife, Dr. Carol Ludwig. So the mission of LISEP is to improve the economic well-being of middle and lower income Americans through research and education. LISEP's original economic research includes new indicators for unemployment, earnings, and costs of living. So these metrics aim to provide policymakers and the public with a more transparent view of the economic situation of all Americans, particularly low and middle income households, compared with misleading headline statistics. So that is all the news that I have to share with you guys today. And if anyone who is listening or watching is interested in getting their finances in order and doing a financial needs analysis or an F&A, which is what I touched a little bit of base on in the beginning of this segment, please feel welcome to reach out. Here we do something for everyone. It isn't a one size fits all. So we do what's best for each person and customize it to what fits them and what they actually need. And I'm sure you're looking forward to what can actually benefit you. So, of course, reach out. So, I'm Maya Henry, and I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and of course, share this video with anyone who you think would benefit from